Hello and welcome YouTube. Today I have here with me 7HD. I've been talking to him over days since I did this actual interview, and I'm just kind of editing this in at the start to give you guys a little bit of an elaboration. But this guy is completely authentic. He has had his inside sources and he's under no NDA to actually hide any of this information. Now, in this video, you'll actually see described that he had a video up that wasn't going to be removed. However, it did get removed, and I think Capcom actually screwed up here. He's fighting the case, and I've had this happen before where Capcom have overturned their own policy on it. So yeah, just understand that. I actually do think this guy is credible. So if you did enjoy this video and there is some crazy stuff here, go check out his channel, as I'll link it everywhere in the video, in the title, well, not in the title, but in the description, in the comments, and I'll put it up on the video right in front of you as well with a link you can click. Just go subscribe to him. He is going to have some amazing content coming soon. Because of his sources and his capability, he can get a lot of information before others do. Hello here YouTube, and welcome back once again. I've got a really cool video to show today. I've got 7HQ here that seems to have an entire analysis of chapter 1 to 3. He got an early preview of it right here, and he's got a lot of details to show. So I'm gonna go on to just letting him talk, and we'll get right into the content, because I don't like to make these intros long, as you guys know. Going through, I'd like to say I'm not sure exactly what you're comfortable with talking about here. I know that there's some things you'll want to keep secret, of course. There's always that level of discrepancy. But just how do you exactly want to talk about this? What are the things that you do want to reveal? So we could probably start early on in the prologue, or you might have a plan for that.
Yes, I have all the chapters from 1 to 3. Detailed full explanation how you will go through the levels, what to expect, and also every weapon that will be coming out in the game. Well, chronologically, you start in chapter 1. So you start actually by driving into your own vehicle. While you also get a phone call from somebody unknown. Not going to spoil that name for you, sorry guys. But after you get out of the vehicle, you need to find the entrance to the house. Well, another one, because the main gate is actually locked. So bad luck actually. So you need to explore further into the woods to find the back door to the entire plantation. If you find it, you can enter it. After that, you will find yourself in the house where we also played the demo. Yes, the demo also, but now we have some more details, more objects we can use around. You will also find the tape. You need to play it again. Yes, but after the tape, you can go also now in present time into the basement. To go to the ladder, well, you will find the tunnels that you can explore. Eventually, after exploring the tunnels, you will find Mia. She's locked in a room in the basement. You explore further to free her, but you will encounter the molded and also some puzzles to solve. If you solve the puzzles, you get something extra. If you do not, well, then it's that.
So the first thing I do want to ask, and you can just say you don't want to answer this if you want to, I respect that, but if you could just give any elaboration, I would appreciate it. But is there any specific reason why you don't want to mention who calls us right at the start?
Well, because it's actually a surprise. If I say the name now, also chapter 2 and 3 will actually be spoiled a little. So no, I'm not going to give that name already. You just have to find out yourself.
Yeah, that's a nice elaboration. I do appreciate at least getting that much, and I'm sure everyone else does as well. And also, when you're going through the chapter and you see Mia, does she give you any response until you actually unlock the cage, or does she just kind of sit there unconscious?
Actually, when you find her locked, she sits there unconscious, like sleeping, just sleeping. So you need to unlock the door by solving puzzles and exploring the caves, and then you can actually wake her up.
And I saw a little room with a hospital stretcher, and it looked like some surgical equipment nearby. Is there any implication that that's actually just for torture, or is it for experimentation with the virus maybe and the bodies that they're grabbing around?
So yeah, it's a lot of cannibalism. Yes, they eat people. So also on the surgery table, they experiment on people they caught inside the house. But also you will have a scene in the story where you can actually see human parts of people they caught and they will serve it as a meal.
Is that during chapter 2 in the dinner scene, or is that at another point as well?
It's also an other point that you will see it through the story, but mostly in chapter 2 at the dining scene.
Alright, so that's kind of confirmation that it is actually human meat that is being served right there. That's disgusting. That's going to be terrible in VR. So after you've got through chapter 1 and completed the puzzles and progressed through the area and maybe, obtained the additional, what I assume is a firearm is probably what you unlock early on. When you get to chapter 2 and you get to the dinner scene, and I'm assuming you notice that the grandma, which I think honestly is named Camille, but we'll just leave it at grandma for now. She's facing towards you, and this is away from the kitchen itself. And then after the doorbell rings, which I assume is the police officer who has come to investigate the house, the bakers, Marguerite's already been ejected out the hallway, and Lucas and Jack go to the door, right, to investigate. And Lucas disappears, and Jack is obviously still around. But the grandma's just kind of left at the table. And then if you actually walk around to the other side of the kitchen and stuff and look back, you'll actually notice that she's following you with her face. She's still unconscious, but she's actually looking at you around the room and changing her facial orientation. And many people have just, thought she's completely unconscious, she's unresponsive. But do you have anything to provide on that? More information on a character? Because she is surely the most mysterious one shown so far.
Okay, so I will say it again. You can just cut this, but I will say it again from grandmother. So here we go. Well, the grandma is the most mysterious person in the house. She keeps popping up in places if you wander around the house. How she gets there, it remains unknown, a common mystery. But I'm also led to believe she has a part to play in the girl you see and is also known as the Ghost Girl.
Now, on that note about the Ghost Girl, and this is something I've also noticed that is very interesting, is that there is the Ghost Girl in the beginning hour demo, and that curiously looks like Mia. And there's the Ghost Girl in the Lantern trailer right at the end. It's for a tiny segment, I'm sure you're aware of it. And at that point, it looks like a teenager. Kinda still has Mia's hairstyle, which is a little odd. But it definitely doesn't look like Mia. It's enough to say that that's a young girl, probably about 14 to 15. And then we have the cover girl, which is the little girl, probably about 11 to 12 years old. And these all seem like separate characters. And that's interesting to me. If you've just said that the grandma is related to that, I just wonder how far that goes. Is there separate ghosts, so to speak? Because I personally think that Mia has supernatural powers because of the beginning hour and how closely that character resembled Mia.
Well, Mia, as for certain, it's certain she has supernatural powers. And also the ghost girls, yes, there are multiple ghosts. It is confirmed. And yes, I think it's all about the grandma. About actually when she was younger. That actually the younger version is the ghost girl, and she's actually kind of trapped. And I think, yeah, you need to solve something with that. What? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's something you need to solve, an extra mystery. That is a huge part of the storyline.
Yeah, I think that honestly is the biggest mystery so far, because if you've said the grandma is linked to the ghost girl, and I had a theory about that a while ago, honestly, myself, that unlocks so many questions because she is the most mysterious character. We've established that there's literally no information on her. Capcom themselves refuse to even reveal her name. They don't want any information going out. And if she is, the reason that the ghost girl is around and she's projecting and she's around the environment even though she's not really there, and Mia has those abilities, doesn't that kind of imply that Mia and the grandma are really kind of linked in a much more mysterious way? And that's probably where the ending of the game's going, to be honest. It's going to be about the culmination between the link of those two characters.
Yeah, well, I think that's also true. I think it's actually a combination of a boss battle between those two ghosts related. Actually, I'm pretty sure about it. Well, I'm actually certain about this that the two ghosts will have something to play at the boss battle. I think it's in the ending. Yeah, it's around the ending with a huge boss battle that the two ghost girls are related actually, and you need to fight them to solve something, to get closer behind the mystery. But I don't know when or what. But yeah, that is something that is also going to happen in the game.
Okay, and there's something that I want to ask. Now, this you might not know about. This is something that's really out there, theory-wise. This is tinfoil hat territory. I go into this area a lot. But, in the Lantern trailer, we saw after across when you go across the bridge and you go into the door for the first time, you see an open doorway on your right, and you go through it, but then it suddenly just shuts out of nowhere. There's no hands on the other side. The other side is actually a wall. Nothing could have been behind it. It seemed supernatural. I get the idea when those things happen because I've seen it in games before, like in Fair. And you know what that actually is? It's your character being herded by the antagonist, so to speak, and they're trying to get you to go to a specific route to get you to do specific things. I almost get the feeling that the Grandma was projecting towards the environment around there to get Mia to go down a specific route around the area. And I almost get the feeling that the Sewer Gator crew were being watched. They weren't being herded, which is a little weird when Mia was there. But then when you go back to the Grandma, once again, her influence, when she's teleporting around the house, as I think it is, she's always outside doorways. Every single time she's outside a doorway, it's almost as if she, again, if you look at the Mia trailer, it almost looks like the Grandma's projecting at this point with all this information to herd Mia into a specific area, and then Ethan is being herded into specific doorways. It's almost as if she's like a navigator to help your character kind of map the environment and where to go for the next part of the puzzle to unlock.
Well, I think it's Capcom's secret guide, but it's always, yeah, okay, you need to know where to go, but will it be positive or negative? That's the surprise that Resident Evil and Capcom have in store for you all. Yes, she is the personal guide in the game.
Yeah, I thought so, but yeah, I also had that thought. It doesn't mean she's exactly on your side. We've had many characters in many games over gaming history where they've led you to believe they're on your side, they're guiding you through. I think Metal Gear Solid 1 is the best example of that. And, you know, when that happens, it kind of makes you really question these characters again in the future. And so that's what I was kind of getting with the Grandma. I do get she's a guide, but is it actually for a nefarious purpose? And I almost get that feeling, and this is the next topic I want to talk about, that the phone lady, the one in the beginning hour demo, because just to clarify for anybody that's not aware, there seems to be 3 people we've heard on the phone up to now in official content. There is a little girl that sounds like she's about 14 years old, has a southernish accent. I would say best bet is she's related to the Bakers, at least. She's a daughter or some relation to them, even if she's not a daughter. Then you've got Mia, I heard her on a phone. And then you've also got this Ada Wong kind of character. Now, I'm not saying it's Ada Wong. I'm saying she just has that mannerism and tone. So I'm saying she's a more refined character. She's not from the South anyway. And she's not Mia. And she seems to be guiding you along as well. Now, I've had theories this could actually be literally, and this is really far out, the Grandma that's like kind of giving you audio hallucinations when you pick up the phone, because there's no dial tone in between that. It'd be really difficult to cut the lines. I could accept it as game logic though, to be honest. But I do think that if it's not the Grandma, then this is some observer for an outside organization. Do you have any information to shed on that? Because I'm sure you're aware that there is 3 different characters on the phone. Mia, little girl, and that observer or whoever she is. And I just want to know if you've got anything you can tell.
Well, the little girl is supernatural. The rest are real people.
Well, I know Mia is one of those, for sure. But it's the girl in the beginning hour demo, or woman should I say, when it almost seems like she's giving you instructions. It's the one that tells you that the doors wouldn't be locked if they can't be traversed through. That woman, she seems like she's observing and giving you instructions to progress. And I don't think that's beginning hour exclusive. I think that's a character in the full game for sure.
Yes, and I also have a theory who it is, and I think it's Zoe.
Now, talking about Zoe, wasn't that implied? Well, it wasn't actually implied. Everybody just assumed Zoe was the little girl because she's referenced in the data mine to be the girl that calls you throughout quite a few of the chapters. But I wasn't sure if it was actually Zoe. You see, she had the same kind of like age and stuff going as what we've seen, you know, some of the adolescent characters such as the Lantern Ghost Girl. But I'm just unsure who that really is. Is that somebody, like, I almost get the feeling that that's Mia and Ethan's daughter, or if it's at least Mia's daughter, possibly. I'm not sure on that one. Do you have anything to shed on that character at all?
Well, I can definitely say Zoe is not the little girl, but I do know that Zoe will help you with phone calls to instructions like look out, something is coming. She will always make you beware of the danger that is, and she will also help you and guide you through the story with warnings. That I really do know.
Alright. Now, in the 3 chapters that you got to see, and you said there was the butterfly effect in motion, can you elaborate at all on what you meant by that? Because that was really interesting.
Well, the butterfly effect, like I know it, well, it has a multiple effect actually, not on like big choices of the game you make that will change your entire story, but they made it actually like in the little things like, well, you can solve the riddles. If you do that, you will have a puzzle and an extra weapon or item that you can go to progress further and better in the story. But you can also choose from yourself not to take it or like take the door on the right, except for the left. It will also influence the dangers that are coming. The better you play, I think, the less danger. But the worse you play, like, oh no, I'm not going to do this extra, I don't want to be safe, then you will have the misery of the darkness of the house coming after you. And that's what I mean also with the butterfly effect. I also think, well, in the main story, there will be some things you will have choices that you have to make, like maybe saving Mia or abandoning her. I don't know, I'm just saying something. But yes, they will also put it in the game.
Okay, so that's a really interesting response. You're basically saying on a few things, but the one that got my most attention was that the dynamic difficulty from Resident Evil 4, which a lot of people are not aware even exists and is a really good feature, is coming back to Resident Evil 7 because it's been absent among a few of the games in between.
Well, I sorry to interrupt, but yes, it's absolutely true. The game difficulty, like the choices you make, is also in Resident Evil 7, like just the same as in Resident Evil 4.
So, do you actually know why, and this might be a stretch to ask, but why Capcom just didn't advertise that? Because that seems like it would be a great selling point to say, to be honest.
It's like their secret weapon, like the same with The Last of Us or Until Dawn. They never said it will be like a butterfly effect, maybe a little bit in the trail, like a butterfly, but you didn't know they would participate in the butterfly effect. Only when you were playing the story, you were like, wait, what? My choices are based on the ending or whatever it unlocks from extra gear or items. And well, when you know that, it's like, I'm going to play this game all over again, and this time on the right way. And that's the thing that Capcom wants.
That's awesome. There is a theory that maybe towards the end of chapter 2, we see the scene that we saw in tape 1, and I'll explain that. I'm sure you may remember this, but it looks like Jack's dragging Ethan through the courtyard, and he has the ghost girl, which I assume is Mia, act over his back. She's unconscious, by the way. And he's just dragging you while it's raining outside. Now, did you actually get to see that, and do you know where that is in the story, and could you elaborate on that at all, if so?
Absolutely. Well, exactly. The girl on Jack's shoulder is Mia. She's been knocked out unconscious by Jack.
And that is towards the end of chapter 2, and why is Ethan being dragged? Exactly what has gone on here? Has Mia and Ethan had a confrontation? Has Jack knocked Mia out? Like, what's actually happened?
Well, they had an argument and they were trying to escape the house, but because of the argument, well, they didn't have enough time, so they caught him eventually. So, so well, yeah, because also the gate was closed. So, yeah, no escape, so they were caught.
But Mia seemed to be in her ghost girl form or infected at this stage. Her skin was very grayed out. I'm just wondering exactly, was that after she got knocked out? Did she start having a tantrum or something? Like, how exactly did that go on?
Honestly, that is also information that I do not know. Like I said, I know a lot, but I don't know every detail of the game, so no, I can't answer on that one.
That's completely fine. I'm not sure if you saw, but I made a theory lately on the house being bad from the inside. The cupboards and stuff are closed over, doors and then knocked over, barricading it. The boards are nailed from the inside. There's watch posts in the trailers in tape 1 and things with a chair and a shotgun. And there's just so many little details. If you go through all the tapes and trailers, etc., you just get this overwhelming feeling the Bakers were barricading themselves inside from like an outside threat. I'm not going to make any implications as to what that is, just an outside threat. Did you get that feeling as you played the game, and how far did that really go? Was it really, really overwhelming? Like, you have a sense this is 100% like a shootout, if you would, between two parties? Or do you just think this is the Baker's craziness?
Well, the Baker family is already known for its paranormal activities, so to speak. They eat humans, so it would be only logical that they would be so crazy just to barricade themselves into their own house. Well, yeah, they are afraid.
So, is there any references to what that could be outside? Is it another paranormal entity such as a BOW? Is it a corporation, a troop of soldiers, an outfit? Is it anything else? Is there anything you can shed on that at all?
There are definitely soldiers like Resident Evil 2, like Hunk, and well, also some paranormal soldiers and everything. So, yeah, paranormal activities, there's definitely something outside that is maybe also a reason why they barricaded themselves inside as well, otherwise from their craziness.
Okay, that's really interesting that you say like Hunk, because in the Heavenly Island manga, which is released for Resident Evil, it's canon and it's going to be tied into Vendetta and RE7. There's a circle between these games. Medium, sorry. Now, the manga itself is about a group of basically cameramen that go to an island with a bunch of really, really attractive models. I'm not even kidding you, to do a camera shoot, and they've got a yacht off the coast. And they're doing a camera shoot, and one of the guys, the camera guys, goes into the island, and basically one of the models has been infected and turned into a zombie. Now, as this plot progresses, it gets, really elaborate. BOWs are revealed, ruins, temples, labs, all the good old stuff you're expecting in a Resident Evil media. So, it gets to the point where Shengya Corporation, and they own Umbrella Corps, which Hunk is related to. And it's just interesting that you said soldiers like Hunk, not Hunk, but like Hunk, which the Umbrella Corps soldiers look exactly like him, 1-to-1
Yeah, well,
ratio.
yeah, well, it are masked soldiers actually, so you don't see a face, but yeah, it's definitely soldiers, and I think you can recognize the pattern and the clothes and their manner of doing from Hunk. So that's the kind of relation that you can put on this. Like, wait, they've put something from Resident Evil 2 into Resident Evil 7, only modified and different.
But is that implying that Heavenly Island does have a connection then after all? Because Shengya Corporation, which is the one that seemed to be sending the Umbrella Corps outfit into the island to retrieve whatever it is there, the BOW virus or whatever super weapon was there, they seem to have extracted that, and then Resident Evil 7 happened sometime after. Maybe. We don't know the chronology yet, but maybe is the question there. So, if Shengya Corporation did that, it would line up because Umbrella Corps is heavily implied to be in this game. The helicopter in the beginning hour demo has an Umbrella logo, and a lot of people assumed it's an old Umbrella photo, when Umbrella was still an organization back in the day. But recently, after the Heavenly Island speculation, and then on top of that, there was some concept art, or not concept art, the art book for Resident Evil 7 was posted with a big fat Umbrella Corps logo right on the front of it. Now, considering the plot of Heavenly Island, is that really, really implying that they're the ones that are really behind all of this?
Well, I can be sure for that theory, but I am sure, and I also know, that it's mainly Umbrella that's is behind all this.
Okay, that's really interesting. Do you have anything else to say about that that you can reveal?
Well, they sent soldiers to eliminate the Baker family. I don't know if you already knew this, but it's true.
Oh, really? When do you have like a time lapse for that? At what chapter that happens in?
Normally, near the end of the game, then it all grows hectic and chaos and, well, very gruesome, like every Resident Evil game. Yeah, well, it's like every ending chaos, hectic, everything comes together, every piece of the puzzle falls into one part.
I thought this was possibly the case. At least, I I know this isn't really part of the interview, but I just want to put this out there. But I do think at the end of the game, and this is my personal thought, that the BSAA and some other organization, let's not say Shanghai, just some other organization, are gonna come to fight over the outbreak or whatever's happening. And I do think Ethan and Mia are gonna have a choice to make at that point, and I do believe Chris may make a cameo and he gives you a gun for the final fight. I think that's what happens because in the data mine we know, and I think the data mine was an early script, but we know that there was a gun dropped from, well, I assume a helicopter, and who could have dropped that? We know that's like a big cliche, you know, in Resident Evil games, getting a gun dropped from you from a helicopter, but who could have done that? With all these soldiers returning, and I can only see a few organizations being, you know, counter-terrorism units in this case, and that's the BSAA, you've got TerraSave, you've got a few organizations, but I do think BSAA, because they are the leading bioterror organization, I do think they're the best ones equipped for this, and I think they're the ones that will actually hit. And I think Chris Redfield will make a cameo. I really do believe that.
Well, Chris Redfield is returning, that's a fact for sure, and I can guarantee it. And
Well,
also, well, if you want, I can also say something like maybe getting away from all this plantation. Normally, if I'm right, of course, but I'm mostly sure that you will be leaving by a boat.
now when you say a boat, that kind of makes me think of the tape 2 where we saw the big ship. Is it something like that, or is it something much smaller?
Yes, and the very big ship or boat, like how you want to call it, it will explode. Like, yeah, here starts the chaos, I guess.
You see, one thing I want to say about this, when I got my leak, which looks very confirmed now, they did say one thing that I didn't really reveal because I didn't think it was too important, to be honest. But he said, well, I did reveal this somewhere, but I didn't make too much of a point of it. But he said the word biohazard is not just, oh, we're putting it in the Western release to look cool now. They actually had a literal implication behind that. Now, in Heavenly Island, the first things we see are infected fish. It seems to spread by the ocean. In Resident Evil 7 Tape 1, there is a very small cut of some dead fish floating around, a lot of them. It almost makes me think that that ship that exploded is literally what caused the Heavenly Island incident, and also what caused the Resident Evil 7 outbreak to occur right at the start, because I think he meant it's a natural biohazard. It spread just completely naturally.
Well, I can really agree to your theory because I also am led to believe that when the boat explodes, there's a virus in it, which is also, yeah, the cause of the biohazard that people have some kind of disease, they mutate in some other way. So, yeah, I think the title is actually the meaning and the start of the game.
Alright, and I do have to ask, because I don't want to be skipped on from that topic, exactly what prominence is Chris gonna make, if anything? Like, how large? I don't want to know where or what action he causes, just, you know, how long is he gonna be on the camera? Is it just gonna be a quick 10-second thing, or is it gonna be for a good 10 minutes?
It will be small references. That's actually all I can say about that.
That's completely acceptable. As long as we know he's coming back, I'm so happy to hear that. I know so many people will be excited to hear that one line. I think that's the most important thing a lot of people have been hoping for.
Well, yeah, it's also been a huge part of Resident Evil, so yeah, I can understand that many people will be happy to see his face once again. I don't know, in a twisted way or maybe in a normal way, but yeah, he will come back, so that's the good news.
We never really got into chapter 3 or onwards, and I didn't really I didn't really let you talk about anything independently. So before we wrap this up, is there like anything you really want to add or discuss here?
Yeah, sure. For chapter 3, I will also invite my friend who has actually most of the information on chapter 3 that we found actually, so I will give the word to him now. So
Oh, okay. I can make this last a little bit longer actually before we wrap this up then.
yeah, sure, sure. So he will be my friend.